What? I'm not agreeing with that.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Because I know the effects of the.
That's rugby. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a hot dog.
Let's be efficient and have a pointed discussion about the game against West Valley here in a bit. So, how many of you used some of the mental skills that we've been discussing in preparation, like breathing, imagery, positive self-talk? Have any of you been working on these sort of skills in preparation? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. It's something that we can improve on, right? Just as we're out here committed to the physical aspect of the sport, and we're training and we're practicing. If you want to be mentally tough and psychologically strong, you must also work on your mental skills day in and day out. Otherwise, they can't be sharp. So let's start an open discussion. Try to raise your hand and be in an orderly fashion where we chat about the game. Before we do that, I'd like for everyone to sit up. Good posture. Let's take 3 deep breaths, rhythmic breathing as we've discussed. 4-second ratio. So we'll breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. We'll do this 3 times. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Go ahead, breathe in. Hold, exhale.
I can't stand
Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. How's your focus right now? Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Good. And it's good. It's good to get the giggles out and to see if you can get into a different mind state, ready to start the match off strong. So, go ahead and tell me about what you imagine your roles to be. It can be individually, it can be as a group. What are some of your goals that you have set for this match? Yes.
To kind of work on, build off of what we worked on in practice and do it in the game.
Okay, can you expand on that? What specifically from practice?
I know specifically, before, it's been working on a lot of runs and, chipping in or deciding, when to turn or when to play through. So I think we can work on that and, build off of it because practice it was good, so.
Nice. I see some nods of agreement, and this is good. Through this, we can be on the same page and be a unit out there, which is key.
I need to work on my left-footed cross for
Great.
this game. So we've been doing it in practice, but it needs to be better.
Yes, crossing and finishing, and you tend to find yourself on that left side, as we've seen. And so, yeah, that's a good individual objective to have, but maybe you can set a personal goal, a specific SMART goal for yourself that you can measure, that is realistic, to maybe get 3 left-footed crosses off today. So you're inclined to even go that way. These SMART goals are really, really key as we progress through the season. The specificness, the realistic aspect of the goals will help make it more achievable and within your reach. What are some other roles and responsibilities? We have defenders, we have goalies. Yes, Kate.
I want to work on better movement off the ball. Personally, I want to work on better movement off the ball and also not shot blocking my own players.
Better movement off the ball and not shot blocking your own players. Okay, yeah, these are great things that you've assessed, you've analyzed from our previous experiences, and that should promote and make us better for this upcoming match, right? As the team motto goes, we're trying to peak towards the end of the season, so we should see an improvement with each game, right? There should be no drop-off if we stay on course. What about mentally? How are the conditions? How's the climate, the environment? So how might this affect us mentally? Irritability, exhaustion, lack of concentration, lack of motivation perhaps. When that heat hits you, it's like, do I want to be even playing soccer right now. What might you do in that moment when you feel these sensations and emotions and feelings? Mid-game, what might you do? Yes, Rachel.
I usually try to just take a moment to breathe and like refocus myself.
Lovely. Excellent. One of the main mental skills that we've been addressing, the breathing, the relaxation, not only can it help us during halftime or before the match, and I'd like us to do it at halftime as well, but mid-game, you know, can you center? Can you be mindful enough to direct your attention inward and see, do I have tension? Am I short of breath? How's my breathing? And then mid-game, when you're panicked, when you're sweating and this and that, it's good to relax and compose yourself and reset through breathing. Does that make sense? So I would like, as we're out there, I will be observing this, as will the teammates. Let's see moments, maybe what would be a good cue, like a good time where you could take a deep breath or two? A throwing. Another? What's another example? Sure.
For me as a defender, it's when the ball is up with the forwards usually and I've moved into position and I have a second or two while they're playing with it so that I can just recuperate.
Yep. Good. So live mid-game during the stoppages, goal kicks, free kicks, throw-ins, these are all great visual cues to remind you guys throughout the game because you may it may get chaotic and you may forget. How's our confidence level as a team? Improving. Good. That's confidence is one of the most essential skills, right, for your success. Who would you say is the most confident in the group? And why? It's a good skill. Yeah.
Back it up. I was gonna say, I was gonna say. Then I look at her and she looked kind of
Okay,
confident.
and why?
She's good.
She's good. What else?
She's aggressive.
Aggressive.
She's kind, so like she has faith in herself when she comes in.
She just always projects that attitude. It's like, I think even if she's feeling not confident, her attitude always projects something otherwise. So
Fake it till you make it.
yes.
Yeah, it's a thing that you have to abide by. You know, a lot of times it's just things that I've learned. If you just smile, just force a smile, you can start tricking your body and your mind to thinking that things are good. You know, it's a unique skill to have, but really, if you just force a smile, sometimes. That can impact your thoughts, which will impact your feelings, which will then impact your behaviors. Okay, so we can just start with that. We talked about Becca's communication. So someone who communicates exudes confidence, right? So then we should see 10, 11 players out there on the pitch and the bench players communicating. A team, 15 players full of confidence and advice and support and encouragement. How is the communication been? Because this is a very vital aspect of team sports.
It's definitely increased since the first 2 games, but from my perspective, I don't know if it's because I'm so far away from a lot of the game, but I don't really hear that much communication when it comes to like after the pass. Like when you're calling for the ball, yeah, you hear a lot of stuff, but as soon as that pass is made, there's not a lot of communication. It's just, okay, like, cool, you got the ball, now let's keep going. It's not really like, okay, man on, or you have time, or hold it, look to your right, turn. Like, I don't really hear a lot of that. And I may be wrong because I'm far away, but that's just what I've noticed.
Fantastic. So it sounds like attaching some advice to your pass would be helpful and beneficial, would it not? Okay, so this is a new area of the communication where, again, we can, I'll be observing as I do, observing your behaviors, your feelings, your emotions and whatnot, and that communication bit after the pass would be a great little goal to achieve, to set for ourselves and achieve, okay? Would you all agree?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. let's see. I'd like for you all to be a bit more vocal now and really take this conversation and vocalize anything that has been on your mind, things that you'd like to clarify from previous matches. Is there anything that anyone would like to get off their chest? Bex?
It's kind of like an apology type thing. So when I get frustrated with myself, like for things that I do, I tend to yell, and it comes off super pissed off at you guys, and I really don't mean it like that. Unless I literally say like, I'm mad at you, I'm not mad at you, I'm like mad at myself, and I like scream at you guys, and it comes off really bitchy.
What would you guys respond to that?
I
said
think we
yeah.
all
Yeah. Take it.
I didn't
Good.
even realize
You see,
you were
this is a nice, so now you're more at ease to communicate as we need you to. The players, yeah, I'll take my coaching hat off, but yeah, it makes sense that you would communicate. The concentration and focus, another one of the really key performance enhancement skills that I'm trying to teach. When may be a time where you lose, there's a lapse of focus or concentration?
When someone gets hurt.
When somebody gets hurt?
Yes.
What occurs when somebody gets hurt?
The game stops and then we all just stand around and talk. So like it's just like the concentration is gone. And then coming back from it, it takes like at least like 10 minutes and then that's when we usually get scored on. And then when we get scored on, we all get down. And then it's all downfall.
Good. So recognizing these sort of patterns is key to be mentally switched on during these moments, you know, to raise your concentration. I've mentioned in some of the individual sessions with you all to ways that we can improve and enhance our concentration. One is a refocusing tool. What's a term that you could say verbally, vocabulary-wise, that could help you refocus? It should be a personal thing, something that resonates with you, and you know if you say that thing, no matter what state you're in, you will refocus. Or it could be a physical thing, a tactile thing where you could slap yourself. You know, there's a variety of options. One is verbal, it could be visual, maybe you have like a wristband or something that every time you look at that helps you refocus. Let's hear a couple examples. Tanisha.
I feel for me personally that it probably be more time because it's like I don't know how you say it, there's no time on the clock.
Yeah.
Whether it's 30 minutes, whether it's 2 minutes, it's still time. That's what in that time that I get a goal back on that.
Yeah.
And then also time. I use time when if I have a bar or help you relax, I can look up, find a better time so I can do something.
Interesting. Time. The concept of time is very universal and an interesting one. I hadn't heard that one in the past. What are some others?
For me, it's breathe, like just the word breathe.
Yes.
And when I say that to myself, I will take a breath or just pause or something, and it helps me to feel less cluttered, both physically and mentally.
Fantastic. Breathe. So it's very, again, pointed. It's specific. It's almost a command to yourself internally. You could say it out loud too. How many of you watched the Olympics? And maybe you may have seen that when they would zoom in close-ups on the athletes, especially just before their match or competition or whatever, they would be like talking to themselves, you know, the Michael Phelps stare and just going through their pre-performance routine and their, you know, you're not crazy if you talk to yourself. You're not. Often we talk to ourselves, but it's negative. So changing that to positive self-talk is key because that self-talk will be there. The breathing was an example. Another example would be stop. You know, when your thoughts start to run off, if it's picking up speed, going down a negative path, spiraling out of control, you can just say stop, you know, aggressively, imagine it with an exclamation point, and you stop your thoughts. This is one of the techniques that I've learned during my program, and it's been really great to prevent me from allowing my thoughts to run away and allowing
Your
myself
brother's
to
here.
run away with them.
Hey, twin. Sorry, Mom.
No worries.
There's a sandwich in there. Don't forget to drink water.
These are all.
I have to make
Yeah,
myself.
that's good. Look, I like that aspect. I like that you all connect with the family and the care that is shown. These are areas that we can emphasize, you know, and discuss and see how important is family. Do we think about family when we're out there in tough times? What motivates us? That's something that I'm trying to find out. What's our motivation? And then if we can appeal to each and everyone's motivation, then we'll be more and more successful.
Probably don't eat that sandwich right now.
Okay. So we have a few minutes. I'll go ahead and wrap up. Leave it with are there any final comments or questions before we face off against West Valley and prepare? Yes?
From my observation of just watching you guys play, because I record all the games, I've noticed that when you guys communicate for a constant time, you are the most successful. You pass, you complete passes, you move forward, you cross the ball, you guys get to the attacking third, and you're close, or you take the shot or something. That's when you guys are the most successful, and I don't hear you guys talk a lot. I don't know if it's, again, just me from not being on the field or whatnot. You guys kind of don't connect very well, or as easily. So if you guys just remind yourselves to talk, or even if, because when I played, when I was on defense, even if I was on the other side of the field, I would still let the forwards know, hey, you got one on, hey, you have time, or cross the ball. It's just from something that I noticed. So even as a defender, I would suggest speak up. As a forward, if you see something a defender might not see, go ahead and speak up, because when you start communicating, you'll get more used to it, and you'll be even more successful. Because when I noticed, you guys have been able to complete everything and look amazing. So.
Fantastic point to conclude on. How is the tone of our communication?
It's not positive.
It should be. And at times we may take loudness for being aggressive and anger, but it's not. Like, the goalkeeper the voice has to travel a distance of like 70 yards. You can't be quiet, and it comes out at that octave. So how can we be at that octave and demand the ball? And give advice but in a positive manner, and communicate it positively. Yes.
Make sure it's never, even if it's said kind of more positive, make sure it's never like negative words like, come on, like, you know how to do that, or stuff like that. Like, instead just say like, next time, or you had pass back, look up, stuff like that.
Yes. And it's difficult. It's hot. You're tired. Things may not be going your way. These are difficult conditions to remain positive, but do it. If everyone's going to be talking, you can say something like, Venetia, get back, come on. Right? If you throw in a little clap, it's like it sounds more encouraging. It feels more encouraging. Little nuances like this. Or you can be critical, but then, top it off with something that they've done well, and then immediately focus on the next play. Okay, so these are all great little goals that we've set for this game. I'll be observing, and I wish you all a good job, girls. Okay.
Thank you. Alright, let's go for the